Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUHI Live Noding. In this episode, we're gonna continue what we learned previously. It's the true and false thing. Let's kind of do a little bit of improvisation. How we can use true and false, and also learn about list masking, and kind of um, use it on vertices, polygon face, or edges. So I probably have done this in the past, but not in this way. So it's like true, false, mesh. There are actually a lot of things you can do with even with just true and false, because you can think of it like if you are like masking an object like a data, whatever true data is being shown, whatever false is kind of being like passed. This is one of such example. So if we start with a plane once again and do like a viewer draw, vertices and polygon. We can center it, it doesn't matter. Maybe don't center it for now. Have a bunch of points. So we have 100 points, 81 polygon face. Maybe we want to use these points to do the masking. Let me have a think. Let's have a look at the point data itself. Let's use text viewer and look at the vector of this guy and view it. See the preview, there's a preview here, but if you actually open another panel right here, we can check the data over here. So we can see with the data there's this number 0, 0, 0. Of course that points at 0, 0, 0. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the x-axis growing, and then there's also y-axis kind of growing. The z-axis is pretty much 0. I'm kind of wondering, maybe we can use this number as well to generate our kind of like masking, or maybe use this number with a modulo, for example, modulus. Let's see if we use vector out, kind of separating all the number, and use vector in, and we can pipe in the z. The z is pretty much 0, but the x and the y, let's see if we kind of use, let's keep the x and the y, but use the x value to the z, and then we get that. It's kind of like a value that's growing up. We know already that if we use like a math sign, we get like a wave, and if we keep growing the plane in the x, we get that. But that's we already know that that's another example of this. But if we replace it with a modulo of 2, maybe we get this guy. Is kind of, this is actually kind of a on off 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. It's actually kind of like the checker pattern, more or less. So if we use the same thing with a y-axis, what do we get? We get kind of modulo in different axes. So that's interesting in itself. If we change the modulo to another value, we can have this kind of like a stepping. I think this is like a solve function. It's not exactly like on and off, but we can use the random number generator, perhaps with the z-axis. So that way we can kind of randomize the position on and off. So we have the vector here, and let's see, random number generator, and if we create like a checker pattern, let me think. Well, actually, random number generator will generate can generate 0 and 1 pattern pretty easily without anything else. So we can just give it a number and it will kind of generate that. It has it doesn't have any kind of a dependency on the point itself, so that's probably not the most interesting. But let me think. This is a vector. Okay, the vector is not so interesting. Maybe we can play with the edges or the polygon, because they are like a data, right? They are like a data, so we can type in any kind of value. I want to play with a list masking. So there is a list mask out and there's a list mask join, and there we also have the vertices, mask vertices. This is all pretty interesting. Maybe mask vertices is something that we can use. It simplify the whole thing, but we can also use list mask and list mask join. I often use just a list mask. For example, if you want like a checker pattern for the polygon, we just plug in the data there and the output maybe there, and change the level list to 2, and we have a checker pattern where they are just like polygon, true or false. Okay, that's because by default, even if we didn't plug in any mask, it will give you like a 0-1 pattern. We can actually use this if you want just like 0 and 1. This always gives you that. So with the mask itself, we can use anything from fractal or maybe like random number. Let's see, we always need like list length to get the total number. So that should go into the size, and then the random number can go in there. And so we have this. This is probably not the most correct because we have other number, but we can change this to 0 and 1, and we have that kind of random pattern. So yeah, the cool thing with this is, of course, we can use this for other stuff, like we are like intermediate level using spreadsheet in intermediate level, so we can we already know a lot of things, so we can probably use this for instancing if you like. So you can use duplicate face, for example. If I use the bmesh viewer, use this and this guy, even though we get some points, I think bmesh actually get rid of the points anyway. So if we have like a Suzanne head here, if we parent to this guy, Control P, and select Suzanne, actually select this guy, the face, and then use a duplicate face, we kind of get a on and off Suzanne head based on the face, of course, like that. If you render it out, we only see the Suzanne head, so that can be useful in itself. Suzanne head, actually, should we rotate it? Okay, let's rotate it like minus 90. So we have Suzanne head controlled by the dupli. It's been duplicated based on the dupli, and then we can still have control over the Suzanne head, and the masking actually come from this random number generator. So that's with the Susan head and dupli. Okay, so let's get back to this guy. We don't need the Susan head anymore. You can keep it, but actually I might actually keep it. Maybe I can hide it. Okay, so we have this guy masking. That's masking the polygon face, and we get a result. If we get back to this guy, we can also kind of do the same thing to the edges. So instead of polygon face that we are masking, we can do that to the edges. Same deal. So this way you can maybe create some kind of level as well. This can be quite interesting. Sometimes you get these stray vertices that you don't want. If you want to process this further, maybe you want to like clean it up, stray vertices, or delete loose. Delete loose will fix that. There you go. We have just edges, and with edges you can do things like extrude edges. Matrix in, vector in. Okay, things like that. That's actually just the edges, which is still pretty cool looking. And remember, it's still all connected to this, and you can actually output the polygon in this case, turn it into some kind of wall. So that's the whole idea for now. It's a basic, simple example of list masking and kind of working with edges, vertices, and polygon. So yeah, I guess that's enough for this live noding video. If you have any suggestion, question, just let me know down below, and I'll see you in the next video.